If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the show that's never as painful as getting a ham sandwich shoved into your sphincter. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion matters. It's right here. I am Michaeletta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger of Tart. Brian, how are you?
Ham sandwich.
He liked that, didn't you?
Ham sandwich.
Gotta come up with some new stuff, you know. I'm not saying I'm getting
not a lot to say about that.
Yeah. Just
feels like a South Park episode, if I recall.
Yeah, that's right. So just keep watching the show. But remember, while you're watching the show, you can always get us on social media if you need to.
Absolutely. So as you can see in the graphic in front of you, we are all over social media. We're at Sportsbox Show on Twitter. Definitely check us out there. Mike does a real nice job of breaking news stories there. At Sportsbox Show on Facebook as well, where there's some exclusive content. But of course, you're watching us on YouTube. We thank you for that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so all of our videos get hot and fresh, delivered right to you like a fresh hot pizza.
Or a nice fresh hot sandwich. Ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich.
Anyway, let's talk about some NFL news and notes. We are into the weeks of free agency. It's been hot and heavy. We had some good episodes. So, Brian, I got to tell you, New England did it again. Unbelievable. Let's talk about Brandin Cooks.
Yeah, you know, Mike, it was speculated for a couple weeks now that Cooks would get traded out of New Orleans. There were a couple suitors, whether it was the Eagles, the Tennessee Titans, and then it just seemed that New England might have been a good fit. So what ends up happening is the Patriots acquire wide receiver Brandin Cooks, as well as the Saints' fourth-round pick, number 118, in exchange for the Patriots' own first-round pick, number 32 overall, because they won the Super Bowl, and the third-round pick, number 103. So all in all, they dropped 15 picks from 103 to 118, and they give it number 32 for
it's amazing
first-round draft pick.
It was rumored that Tennessee offered the 18th pick to try to get Brandin Cooks. That never was reality. I think if they would have offered the 18th pick, that might have been a good sticking point with them. But I mean, New England, you know, here's a team that just keeps reloading, and here they go with another receiver again. Everybody says every year they don't have a receiver. Well, they're getting Gronk back, and now you're going to have Cooks in the lineup.
Well, we had a conversation with our Patriots correspondent, Kevin Zane, in regards to what he thought about this, and he really was he had some mixed emotions on it. I think he said that, you know, it felt more like the Patriots didn't really like the wide receiver class, or whoever they thought they could get possibly at 32. Cooks is still young, but it's also possible that they don't re-sign him after his contract's up. So I guess it's more of like a trial, whatever. They're just staying loaded while they have Brady healthy. But you know, Kevin made the point. You know, they've done quite a bit with really no-name receivers for the most part. The one time they had Moss, they went 18-1, and the one was the one that mattered. So
yeah, they won a Super Bowl with Jabbar Gaffney, by the way. Yeah. So I mean, that just tells you all you need to know about that. But Brandin Cooks in a statement said, "Trade to the Patriots was like a dream come true." Which,
wow.
I wonder. That's like riveting news, isn't it? I wonder why they've won how many Super Bowls in the last 10 years.
I mean, I tell you what, they won the Super Bowl a couple weeks, and they might have just won the offseason.
Yeah, well, they did win it this year, didn't they?
They did. That they did.
Did Atlanta still recover from that? Or?
I don't think they did.
Oh my God!
You know, it's funny. The Atlanta fans have been very quiet on the Sports Box feed ever since.
From Red Band shooting his mouth off for weeks of the Redbird at the time.
We're still here, guys. I mean, where'd you go?
I don't know. And some more news and notes. What else you got over there?
Yeah, so it looks like the dealings between the Saints and the Patriots might not be done yet. It looks like Malcolm Butler, who's a restricted free agent, is visiting New Orleans now. Mike, you'll remember that he was speculated to be someone who might go in exchange for Cooks.
Yeah, now they're going to have to,
again, now they did sign Stephon Gilmore.
Yep.
So they have a corner that they brought in, the guy from the Bills, who was a great pick up there. I'll be curious to see what happens there. Now, again, if he signs a deal in New Orleans and the Patriots choose not to match, they're going to get New Orleans' first-round pick, which is a lot higher than the one that they I believe it's 11th overall. Yeah. So, I mean, wow. How do you end up with Brandin Cooks and the 11th overall pick?
You try to wrap your head around it, you can't. It's mind-boggling what they do. To me, it's a great move. Is it going to be bigger than the Ted Ginn Jr. move to the Saints?
Well, obviously, Cooks was a guy who they relied on to return kicks. It's one of Ginn's specialties, so he's pretty much an easy fit there. But
yeah, and he's a return guy. So I mean, that's the thing. Ted Ginn Jr. is not exactly a spry chicken anymore, but he'll suffice in New Orleans for now. What else we got over there?
So, near and dear to my heart, Tony Romo's still a Dallas Cowboy.
Still a Cowboy.
He went on Instagram not that long ago, said, he loves the fans, going to miss everybody, but he's still in Dallas. Some speculation he could be traded to either Houston or Denver. Though that ship may appear to have sailed. I don't think either team's willing to call Jerry Jones bluff here.
Yeah, I think they would have did it by now.
I think they're trying to do right by Romo, but again, I'm a big believer if you're going to cut him, you got to do it after June 1st and free up more cap space. But in the meantime, they have their own issues. So Doug Free announced that he's going to be retiring. Ronald Leary went off to pastures up in Denver.
Yep.
So now they have two guys really from their offensive line that they have to adjust to fix for next year.
Yep.
They're going to get La'el Collins back, but they still have an opening there. They're going to need the money. And they keep losing guys to free agency.
Yeah.
J.J. Wilcox. I mean, they keep losing players. Pretty much embroiled in this whole Tony Romo thing. It's got to come to a head one way or another.
You got the Texans too getting rid of Osweiler, which was a
great move for Cleveland.
Great move. In the same sense, Cleveland hasn't released him yet. We talked about that because of they don't have a quarterback. So I guess they're holding on to him. In worst case scenario, they'll put him in the lineup. But I mean, the main move was to bring him in and cut him. But he's still in Cleveland, so
unsubstantiated rumor that on the Browns website they will not let you buy an Osweiler jersey.
So what's that tell you?
That tell you
tells you he's going to be out of town soon. The big news today was Eddie Lacy off to the Northwest to Seattle for a 1-year deal, $5.5 million. It's a very interesting scenario for the Seahawks now against the Packers.
Yeah,
and it's a good move for I think Eddie Lacy. He wasn't. He's got to lose some weight.
Yeah, well, $3 million guaranteed. 26 years old. He was averaging 5.1 yards a carry his first couple games last season. And then he had an ankle injury, kind of really hurt him there, but. Kind of interesting, these two teams kind of keep going back and forth. The Seahawks let go of Kristen Michael, ended up in Packer Green.
Yep.
It's an impact on Seattle. I really don't know that running back was their big issue last year.
No, I mean they had a lot of guys come through there.
Yeah, Thomas Rawls played really well when he had the opportunity. They had C.J. Prosise, a young kid.
Yeah.
I think the rumor is they still want to talk to Jamal Charles, so they appear to be just accumulating like a bunch of these guys, I guess, to deploy.
Yeah,
but
I don't understand that at
No.
all.
So you look at the impact on Seattle, I guess they're going to go really by committee, which probably just kills the fancy value of everybody.
But Eddie Lacy, when did he swallow a beer keg? I mean, he's a house. He's got to lose some weight.
Yeah.
From the times not that he's going to be spelt as what he was in Alabama, I understand that, but he's got to lose probably about 25 pounds.
Well, Pete Carroll said, they want him big, so maybe they want to play a little Mike Tolbert here.
The power runner in the NFL, I think, is going away. You need the speed back. You need a guy who can get to the corner or a guy who can get up in the middle and get through tackles. I think that big Earl Campbell, Riggins back in the day, I think it's going away. You can't have all-star. You can't have guys like that anymore.
Well, I think you need guys that are dual threats. I think you need guys that can catch out of the backfield, too, because it opens up. That defense has to account for it. And you talk about guys like that, so you think about the impact on the Packers here now again. From the running backs, I don't know if James Starks is under contract. I know Ty Montgomery's got 1 year left. And I believe Kristen Michael, his was only a deal through the end of the year. So right now, unless they fill that position with a free agent or a draft pick, it looks like Ty Montgomery's a starter.
I don't like that move. I think you move Ty Montgomery out and let him go catch some passes instead of running the ball like he is. I don't think he's going to have the impact he did last year.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that idea. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe the Packers pick up the pieces of somebody who might fall. Wouldn't he? Adrian Peterson would be an interesting fit there. Kind of maybe like the reverse Brett Favre.
Yeah. I don't think. I think Seattle was not a good landing spot for him. I think somewhere else is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Love to say the Eagles, bringing back a guy they had a couple years ago in Nick Foles, 2-year deal. In the same sense, Chase Daniel asked to be released. So it's kind of twofold in that. They're going to lose money against the cap with Daniel, but in the same sense, they signed a cheaper Foles who knows the system, who's probably going to do just as much as Chase Daniel. So, is it a win for the Eagles? I don't know. It's a minor deal, but
to me, it's much ado about nothing. We're talking about backup quarterbacks here, and if Carson Wentz goes, then you got bigger problems to worry about in Philly. But so they end up bringing back Nick Foles. Looks like it's a 2-year deal,
$11 million,
$7 million of that guaranteed, and then they ended up again releasing Chase Daniel, which again was per his request.
And they had 2 years of that. I think it's $7 million. So they kind of gave $7 million to Nick Foles, but in the same sense, they saved all that money that we gave to Chase Daniel. So.
Yeah, so I mean, there's about $7 million in dead money as a result of this. So really, they're paying more for the backup quarterback this year, but there is offset language in his contract. So if he does get picked up, it reduces what the Eagles owe.
And they're looking long term anyway, because they got to get out from under some of these deals. They have no money to play with. You see that in the offseason. They went out and got Jeffrey for 1 year. They got Torrey Smith, but in the same sense, they're small deals. They're not guaranteed deals and things like that. They really can't have any kind of leverage to go out and get free agents because they have no money. Mm-hmm. So they got to find a way, the Eagles, to get money.
With a lot of holes to fill on top of that.
A lot of holes to fill. I've heard Kelsey's been in the rumor mill, but he's still there. Excuse me. I gotta get some sleep.
Where's Sports Box Coffee?
It's that free agency. I'm up all night tweeting and getting on the feed. You guys gotta see that. It's great.
Well, speaking about somebody who's going to be sleeping pretty well going forward, Demarcus Ware, 34 years old, saying bye-bye to the NFL. He's
bye-bye, Demarcus.
138.5 sacks in his career, good for 8th all-time, led the league as a Cowboy in 08 and 2010. But
Hall of Famer?
8th all-time in sacks.
Right there.
8th all-time in sacks.
I think he's in.
He did win a Super Bowl.
I think he's in. I don't think he's first ballot. I think he's second ballot.
No, and I remember the year he was drafted that it was last week that took him over Sean Merriman. Bill Parcells decided Demarcus Ware out of Troy was a better pick. What's interesting is there's some talk of this being a soft retirement. Because he's not really under contract to anybody. He's a free agent.
So if somebody calls him and he's back,
he could come back mid-season theoretically. I don't know. I mean, there was talk of him going back to Dallas. I didn't think that was a great fit to keep going back like that. But listen, he was a great player for the Cowboys. I think if not for salary cap concerns, he'd finish his career there. I'm glad he went to Denver and got himself a ring. That's great for him. Just a real good guy.
He's right there.
Just a good guy. For all the guys in the pros you hear about all these off the field type stuff, he was never an issue with that.
No.
Just a pure class guy. He was one of the stars when they did Hard Knocks. So
and as expected, Benny Logan of the Eagles off to Kansas City. That was expected. Not only is he reunited with Andy Reid, you knew he was going to leave because the Eagles couldn't afford him. He's going to be another big money guy, so they really couldn't put the money out. What are you going to do? It happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Running back market still seems a little soft. Still a lot of guys out there that need deals, whether it's AP, whether it's Latavius Murray, again, Jamal Charles.
This draft is shaping up pretty interesting this year.
Yeah.
Some of these moves this year. I mean, it's a big corner draft. I know that.
Yes.
The Eagles better grab a corner. I hear talk in this town about, grabbing Dalvin Cook from Florida State at running back. It'd be a nice fit, Dalvin Cook, but guess what? If a cornerback is there, that's going to make a difference for you, which I think he should at 14. Got to grab him. This team needs cornerbacks in the worst way.
Not to pat myself on the back as I'm known
But
to,
you will.
But I probably will.
But you will.
The Philadelphia media is now catching on to the idea that it makes sense for the Eagles to trade back in this draft.
Wow.
Possibly out of the first round.
Did we say that?
Did anybody maybe here, may have suggested this a couple of weeks ago, even months ago.
I don't think we
when
said
we talked about how many holes the Eagles had, how they gutted their draft picks to go get Carson Wentz, which is fine, but now you have a chance to replenish, and the position of need is very deep.
Maybe they subscribed and got smart.
You know what? We want to thank everybody in the Philly media who's subscribing to the Sports Box and is just taking our ideas and making them their own.
Yeah, you can have them.
Listen, flattery is it's what we're very flattered.
Just keep watching. That's all we ask.
Flattery gets you everywhere on the Sports Box. If you want to advertise, let us know.
Yeah.
Speaking of advertisements, we definitely want to recognize the Sports Box sponsor for today's show. This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box. Thank you very much. Make sure you give Mike a call there. Mike's awesome. Make sure also if you're in the South Jersey area, Mike's at the Applebee's in Sicklerville every Wednesday night having a quiz show, and most of the time we go and we win, or at least we finish second. We probably win though.
Yeah.
Gary, make sure you check it out Wednesday nights at 8:30, only at the Applebee's in Sicklerville. DJ Mike Velardi from Mic'd Up Entertainment.
So thank you for watching as usual. That is our NFL free agent update, and we'll do some notes. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for us. We always have good stuff coming.
And of course, as you can see on this wonderful graphic in front of you that my wife made so nicely, make sure you check us out on Twitter at Sportsbox Show, on Facebook at Sportsbox Show, and of course, this YouTube channel you're seeing right now. You know what? Mike and I are going to have a bit of a conversation. Just take about 2 seconds to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll be right back. So what do you think about that whole Lacy thing? I think it's stupid as hell.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why are they giving that kind of money?
Absolutely.
Thomas Rawls, right?
Yep. Thomas Rawls.
All right, hey, so we're back. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. We're going to keep giving you the content you're looking for.
Absolutely. And remember, always remember, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters.
Oh, it's right here. Just keep your ham sandwiches away from me.
I'm bringing a ham sandwich next week. Thanks for watching. See you. 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.